Hi guys, it's Nicole, and today I wanted to share kind of a quick tutorial on how I print my journaling on things like pre-made journaling cards, cut apart pieces, tags, things like that. I've noticed a couple questions recently. I've talked about in other videos journaling strips, formatting journaling, things like that. Today, I need to print some journaling on a 3x4 card. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through my process today and kind of slow it down. And hopefully this will help those of you that have asked about it in the last couple weeks. So I am using a super old cut apart from My Mind's Eye collectible, specifically Remarkable Authentic Journal Card, which is this one right over here that says notes. I was able to find an image of it on Google. So, pretty sure, checking with a ruler, it is 3x4 inches. So, typically what I will do is I will go ahead and type up my journaling. This is just the preset formatting when I open Word. I haven't changed my font yet, I haven't changed the size, and I haven't messed with any kind of sizing. All I did was sit down, type out my journaling, before I even figure out if it's going to fit. From there, typically what I like to do, because I know I'm going to be running this through my printer, is I will come up here at the beginning of my journaling. I'll hit enter a couple times because I need room to be able to tape the card to the paper and have it run back through my printer. And having this space up here just kind of gives me a buffer. Now, I'm going to come down here, and if you hover your mouse where this white and gray meets, this is basically where the software is stopping your text. I'm going to come up here and grab this dividing line, and I'm going to pull it up to the 4-inch mark on the ruler. So basically, I'm telling it that I only want to have 4 inches of vertical space for my text to live in. And right now it's counting the enter button that I pushed. lost my thought there. So I may have to come fiddle with that, but I'm going to kind of visually show you guys what I do. So same thing, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to pull these in. Normally, I will only do this one and I'll pull it over here to 3. Because I've done this so many times, I'm okay having a smaller margin over here because it's a repetitive thing that I've done and I know how to do it. For the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to kind of have it be more centered. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do both of these margins. So right now it's set up to only allow text in a 3-inch wide area and a 4-inch tall area. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything, and I'm going to pick a font. The layout that I'm working on is summary, very bright, very vibrant, and lots of pictures of my kids. So typically I will kind of pick something like this that's just a little bit more fun. And because I've got the space for it, I'm going to go ahead and change it to 12. And just looking at it, I kind of think having it left justified looks ugly. I don't have a better way to describe that. I'm going to go ahead and center it. And I think looking at my card, because again, I'm using this one right here, I've also got this right here. So I don't actually have the full 3 inches. And normally I'll go ahead and take off a 1/4 inch to have little margins. I'm going to go a little bit further than that to take in for this pre-printed line that's here as well. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to actually make this a little over 2.5. And then I can already tell by looking at it that my lines of text are closer together than the lines that are printed on the card. This is the part that is trial and error. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to come up here to line spacing. I'm going to come down here to line spacing options, and it's telling me that it's already at 1.08. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to kind of mess around. I'm going to put it at 1.2. And it pushed my journaling to the second page because I've got this at the bottom of this area. So I'm just going to take out some of these enters. So that spread it out a little bit. I'm going to guess that I need to go a little bit more. So I'm going to say, I don't know, let's do like 1.35. And that didn't. Oh, you know what? I'm going to try 1.5, which is one of the preset ones, and I'm going to print it and see what it looks like. And after it prints, I'm going to come back from my scrap desk and show you how I figure out if it's going to fit. Okay, so this is my first test print, and I can already tell that my text is too wide, because if I put it underneath here, you can see the red line is here, but my text goes past the margin. So I already know that I need to go back into Word and I need to squish my margins in just a little bit this way. And then a lot of times to check the lines, and this is just a check, this isn't to line it up to print it on, I basically put it, I'm going to take this line, imagine that it's here, and I just go through and I'm visually looking to see, and as you can see, it's getting where stuff's starting to get too squished. This is then going to start printing on the line. So what this is telling me is right now I think my line spacing is at 1.5. I need to make it bigger. So I'm going to try like 1.65, and it's just going to shift the lines apart a tiny bit. And this is the part where you just kind of have to kind of mess around and fiddle around. And normally I won't center my journaling. Like I said, if I'm doing it myself and not using it for the purpose of sharing with you guys, I've done it so much that I know I need to give myself a little bit of room from here to here to be able to put my tape and run it through, and that I don't really need to mess with that left margin. I can leave it there. So most of the time when I print my journaling, it ends up printing like here. So I can actually run this same piece of paper through my printer 4 times, because every time I put the paper in, it's gonna print in this upper corner, and all I do is I keep rotating the paper when I'm doing these test prints. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and flip my paper up. It's gonna end up printing down here, and I'm just gonna keep using this same sheet of paper over and over and over again until I get it where I need it to be. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go back to my screen recording to show you guys fixing it, and then I'll come back after I've done another print. Okay, so like I was saying, this, I'm gonna go ahead and have it come into like 2.5, and looks like it dropped down again. So I'm gonna delete one of the lines up here, and I'm gonna go into my line spacing, and I'm gonna say 1.65, and it spread it out just a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go put my paper back in the printer, run it through again, and see if my line spacing is right. Okay, so I ended up doing a couple different trial and errors, and I just kind of wrote down which ones I was trying. I somehow was going the wrong way. I was making it bigger. I actually needed to make them closer together. So again, normally it only takes me 2, maybe 3 tries. Today, I think I ran it through 5 or 6 times just because I was having some other issues going on. So I'm gonna call it 1.50 was my line spacing. That's gonna get me the closest. It's not gonna be perfect, but I'm okay with it. Now, normally I would use a T-square ruler. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say I couldn't find it. Here it is. So I like to go through and I'm just going to draw lines where I kind of want these lines to be. And it's not going to be perfect, but basically I'm just giving myself a visual of where my text sits. Because once I put the card on top, I won't be able to see it anymore. So I'm making sure to draw my lines wide, like way wider than the card, so that I can actually see where everything is. And like I said, I only go kind of this far in depth when it's something like this that has pre-printed lines. If it was just like a regular cut apart card that maybe has like a frame around it and like an image, that you can kind of do the line spacing that's already in there. Okay, so I've got my lines. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a vertical at the widest parts where I have text. This is to make sure that my text doesn't print on this side of the line or off the card completely. So I can kind of line up the lines on my card with the lines under my journaling. And like I said, this one, it's not going to be as spaced out nicely as I would prefer, but I'm just having issues today, so I'm calling it good enough. So what I do, I think I'm going to leave this one blank and have the journaling start on the second line and end second to last. So I'm kind of centering it on the lines as well. So I'm basically using the vertical lines to make sure that my journaling is centered, and then kind of lining up the pre-printed lines with my pencil drawn lines, which they're not going to line up perfectly. And I went the wrong direction. Oh, keep shifting. Oh, you know what? I need tape. The other thing is I use like washi tape, Post-it tape, mint tape, purple tape, any kind of tape that's not going to be permanent for running it through. Except I can't see. Now, I only need to put one piece here because I have the rear door on my printer open, and that's how I print. So this just goes into the tray, it feeds through the printer this way, and it comes out straight. Years ago I had a printer that I would have to put it in the actual tray, face down, it would go around a bunch of rollers. If that's the case, then my suggestion is to put tape down the sides and possibly the bottom if it's going around a roller, if that makes sense. Now, like I said, this isn't going to be perfect. Something I also like to do, I can check with my filming lights and I can check with my window. Because this doesn't have any printing on it and it's kind of a white paper, I'm actually, right before I print, I'm going to put it up on my window and just check to kind of make sure it's not like crooked. It's kind of like a light box in a sense. I've tried the light on my phone, it doesn't work. I like the window or even my computer monitor, works great. If it's like a darker colored pattern paper or darker colored card, I can't do that. So that's why I do these lines, so that, because you can't see the journaling anymore. So basically just drawing the lines and giving yourself a guide is how you're going to get it where it needs to go. So, completed journaling. I made sure it wasn't over the line because I used my guide marks here. It's not all the way to the edge because I centered it between this line as well. This line's got more space than, say, this one. I don't care. I just want it to not be where the line goes through my text. This is good enough for me. I did get a little skid mark on my printer. Pretty sure I need to clean it, but it's fine. I'll put something over it. And that's pretty much it. And then these I just kind of set to the side, and when I have like stacked die cuts to glue together, if I have ink blending to do, I pull out this and just kind of keep using it until it's gross and I feel better about how many times I've run it through my printer. So with that, I hope that this kind of helps answer some questions about printing on something like this. If you have any other questions or you want to see a different example, leave me a comment below and I am more than willing to continue to help with stuff like this. Catch you guys later.